This is Giles Martin, and you're listening to the Fab Four Free for All.
Let's just start right off the bat. I wanted to ask you a couple of real quick questions about Now and Then. First of all, it's great. I cannot stop listening to it, and my family is listening to it on purpose because I am. But the videos that the fans made, did you and Paul ever hear any of those fan-made ones over the years?
No.
Really?
Yeah. No. No. The videos the fans made.
They actually made fan-made versions of Now and Then, which they just took other Beatles stuff. But so did you guys work on the bridge at all? Did it work? Obviously, you didn't think it did if it was cut.
Oh, I see. Sorry. You mean the bridge? I thought you meant
the bridge. The I Don't Want to Lose You bridge from the song.
Yeah. No, I don't know. No, Paul. The version that Paul played me was the version that you hear now.
Okay.
So I think that in a true collaboration, and let's face it, you can question Paul's songwriting technique more than I can, if your peril. But I think he made a call on it. I think he just I think actually the structure of the song works really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it needs anything else. And,
we kind of agree with that also. We were saying it didn't need the bridge.
Yeah, and I think the Beatles were always very good on economy, funny enough, on making sure that they edited themselves really, really well.
Okay.
Good point.
And
have you heard the one that's circulating now that the fan did, where he actually put the bridge back? It's on YouTube.
No.
You've got to listen. It's kind of interesting, but it proves the fact that it just...
Giles is going, nah.
All right, Rob.
You really think my life isn't busy enough?
Well, no, I figured you're all over social media. You might want to, you might have heard something because it's out there.
It's a very busy man, Mitch. Very busy.
Have you read the book on this? And I go, I'm students finishing an action film. They'll go, do you really think it's like, that's the... Anyway, no, but by mistake, I might listen to it.
Okay.
There we go.
Giles, what's the timeline for you entering the picture with the production? Where do you come into the whole thing?
I was remixing, I think it was Red Rose Speedway for Paul, the Wings album, in Dolby Atmos at Abbey Road. And I heard from Steve Orchard, who's Paul's engineer, who's great, that Paul was working on Now and Then. I didn't know what Now and Then was, because as you guys know, I'm completely useless when it comes to these things. and then Paul played it to me, which is last May, I suppose. And I was actually generally worried that it might be crap, because what did you say? And I was just delighted when I heard it. It's like, this is really really. I just thought, God, the Beatles are so lucky. This sounds like a last song of the Beatles. That's what it sounded like to me. And then Paul said, any ideas? What do you want to do? And we discussed that, and that's how I started working on it. So that was last May, I suppose.
Okay.
Giles, the other big project that's on everyone's lips is the 62 to 66 and 67 70 remixes. We know that the MAL software that was involved with especially the earlier tapes, was there anything that of all the tracks, what were the ones that were standouts to you where the MAL truly just made you inspired, just gave you so much, so many new concepts and new things to work with the tracks?
It's not a question of new concepts and things. It's more of a thing like, you suddenly can separate the band from themselves. Bands don't play on top of each other. Generally, a guitar, bass player standing like a foot apart or 4 feet apart, 5 feet apart. Things like us. I remember, I think I saw us standing there that mix happened really quickly. I thought, this just sounds really good.
Yeah.
It's a song I really like, a song I love. It's like, I know that I don't think that's on the original Red album. I think it's a bonus track. I think. As I reiterate, I'm useless. I think Day Tripper for me.
I was thinking
oh my God, have I made the drums too loud? Because I suddenly have Ringo's drums. And it's like, this sounds like, and I get it. That's funny. People ask me about ethical decisions I make during mix. I'm thinking, well, look at what's happening in the Middle East, and people ask me about ethical decisions in mixing. That, for instance, I was like, no, but it sounds good. It sounds like how they would want to sound if they didn't have the limitations of the technology they had at the time on them, and that's the key.
Bingo.
Yeah. And so, yeah. In all honesty, with all of the chat of now and then, the thing that excited me most about my work I've done over the last whatever it's been has been the Red and Blue albums, the Red albums.
It's excited. It's just amazing, really, Giles. Congratulations on a really fine piece of work.
But I just think that those tracks suddenly. I played it to a friend of mine who's a big Beatles fan, and he came. I always do these tests, and I played him. I think I played him A Hard Day's Night or something. I can't remember what it was. I just get people to choose, and they've got everything in front of them. And then I had this button on my desk which goes from original to remixed original.
Right.
And he was listening away, and he goes, well, "What have you done?" I went, "What do you want to done?" He goes, "Well, it sounds like an MP3. What's happened to it?" I went, "That's the original." He went, "No, it's not." I went, "That's the original. That's the original." He goes, and that's what you want. You don't want people to think they're listening to a different version of the song. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but we fill in the blanks, right? We are, us old fogies. We fill in the blanks, and we kind of imagine what it was. The next generation doesn't. My example I'd use is Terminator 2. Okay, Terminator 2 came out, and we watched that film and go, "This is impossible. This could never happen." And you watch it now and go, "This looks like plasticine. This is not even scary." All that stuff. And it's the same with sound. We are happy with everything in one side of the speaker and never even think about it. And you get a kid, they're going, "This sounds broken."
Yeah.
Yes.
And what I love about this now is that it doesn't sound broken. I think Twist and Shout is amazing with everything on one side. I love the John's Bleed, and it took me ages to get that feeling right for me. But I do think there's a case where if you have drums coming out of both speakers or both headphones, say, they're going to sound more powerful, than just one. And
Agreed.
I think we get that now, and I think we get the sense that they are the age they are, not the age the records are.
Yeah.
Well
Very
put.
true.
Yeah. That's very, very true.
By the way, we are available for future tests if you would like to.
Yeah.
You're exactly so people like get in, funny enough.
Yeah.
You guys are excellent, you're passionate, and you care about this stuff. I don't, you don't do what you do because you make a lot of money out of it.
No.
I know that. I can see you. But you do what you do because you're really passionate about it.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
And so it's a cross thing between making sure that you guys are happy with the work I do, in all honesty, because it's really important to me that you are, and that people like my kids that have no idea where the Arctic Monkeys were playing the same decade as Fleetwood Mac, that they'll put on Blackbird because they think it's a good song.
Yeah.
Make sure that they don't turn it off because it's coming out of one side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Giles, I just have one more question concerning Now and Then. The orchestration, to me, is so important to the song because it's not just the background, it's leading the song, especially towards the end. What do you remember about the orchestration and the fact that you guys did it in Capitol in Hollywood instead of maybe in England?
Abbey Road too, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the location makes less of a difference than people would think. Without doing, I mean, Capitol has been home of some of the best recordings, in history.
Sure.
And
Sinatra.
Yeah. the fondest thought I have of doing the strings actually was taking them to Paul and him listening to everything and breaking it down and going, you need to respect George's guitar part more. Listen to what he's doing, and the way that he insisted this was a collaboration of all the Beatles. Paul was incredibly happy and complimentary of what we were doing, but it was really important to him. And then the other thing, of course, is really trying to pay homage to my dad, with the work he did. And if I'm going to rip off my dad, I might as well do it for the final Beatles song. It's my last chance, So there was that as well.
Yeah, and I mean, how did it feel, Giles? I mean, this is the first time that you were coming in and doing one of the brand new post breakup songs. And were there similarities to just how you approached the feel of it, the innate Beatle-ness of the recording and of the song, as you did all the the other remixes, the other work that you've done in the catalog, the great work you've done?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I suppose that it's ingrained in me, that sort of sound, I suppose. I'd like to think I had a process, but it's just a question of, does it sound good? I'd like to make what I do sound more intelligent, but it really isn't. It's so much down to how it makes you feel.
Mm-hmm.
It's really important. This felt like a Beatles song.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, that's so when people listen to it, they don't question whether it's the Beatles or not.
Yeah.
Right.
Last thing for me, Giles, is that in general, have you seen the emotional reactions that people are having to this song?
Yeah, just today, I suddenly saw some videos of people. I was like, what is going on? Yeah, and young people as well.
Yes. Absolutely. We've posted so many TikToks of young people who are crying their eyes out at this song. And it's just, I mean, I've cried so much on this because it's part of my nature and mortality also, because the Beatles' last song. But it's amazing how this song is touching so many young people.
Yeah, and I think that's, for us, that's an achievement. That's the, and it's not about young people or old people. It doesn't make any odds to me. It's one thing that this song, I think in the video, the Beatles video Peter's done, as I was saying something the other day, it actually, it's that thing that you get told when you're young. I think my dad told me, it's like, once you get to about 20, you're pretty much the same age as you'll always be. It's just your body starts getting old around you. You'll be having different experiences, but we're pretty much the same age. Yeah. And we don't believe it, and nor should we at the time. That's the rules, isn't it? That's the rules of engagement. But I think that's what the video does. It just shows you the counterpoint between, young versions and old versions of the same people. And that's what the song's about. The song's about time, the passing of time, and the fact that, the Beatles, we may miss them, but they miss each other more, I think.
Yeah. Well put.
Well, someone told me that one of the things about this song is it's a new release from the Beatles, which doesn't happen very often, especially since, and I think that's a very important, and the person who told me that was a 20-year-old kid. He goes, "This is my first Beatles release." And I had not thought of that at all until he said that.